Hey guys, what's up? So today I'm going to be telling you the number one tip for each section of the CPA exams. So first up, we have FAR. Now people would say that FAR is probably the hardest section of the CPA exams, at least most people. And that's because FAR has the most amount of material. But the number one tip that I have for you is that because there is so much material, there's not that much time to go in depth on everything. So what I would recommend that you do if you're trying to pass FAR is just study the surface level material for the non-highly tested topics. And then for anything that's highly tested, which your review course will tell you what's highly tested, what's not highly tested. For the really highly tested topics, I recommend that you go deeper on those topics. And this way you're not wasting your time studying things that aren't even going to be on the exam, but you're using your time efficiently to study things that will more likely be on the exam. Next up, we have audit. So audit is a very conceptual exam, and I actually came up with 2 tips for audit, not one, because I couldn't pick which one was more important. But the first tip I have for audit is do not overthink the question. Like I said, it's a very conceptual exam, and one word can make the difference between a right and wrong answer. And at least for me on the audit exam, which I took audit 5 times, I feel like on every one of my audit exams on the multiple choice questions, I felt like I could argue every single choice. So really recommend that you go with your initial instinct and do not overthink it, because once you overthink it, that's when you're going to confuse yourself. And then the second tip that I have for audit is take audit right after you take FAR. Because that makes the most sense. FAR, you're building the financial statements. Audit, you're auditing the financial statements. And I will say that I had some simulations on my audit exams where if I didn't take FAR first, there was no way I was gonna get that simulation correct. So really recommend that you take audit right after you take FAR. Next up, we have reg, and reg is the tax portion of the CPA exams. My number one tip that I have for reg is to study corporate tax. Spend most of your time on the corporate tax section because that is all over the exam. I do know that corporate tax makes up the most amount of reg, which really sucked for me because I really struggled with corporate tax a lot. I did not find it easy, but I did feel like me practicing a lot of simulations and multiple choice questions really helped me on reg, and I was able to pass it on my first try with an 85. And last but not least, we have BEC. And a lot of people say BEC is the easiest section of the CPA exams. I do not agree with that. I think every section of the CPA exams are hard, but for BEC, my number one tip is to know the equations. There are a ton of equations that are in BEC, and I recommend that you make flashcards, you read them over, you practice multiple choice questions, like know them in the back of your hand. And chances are if you studied FAR and audit, then you probably already know these equations, and when you study for BEC, it is just reviewing at that point. That's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it helpful. I wish you the best of luck on your CPA exams. If you did find this video helpful, I really appreciate it if you subscribe and like. It literally takes 1 second for you to click a button, but it means the world to me. Have a great day or night whenever you're watching this, and I will talk to you next time. Bye.